Can people hear us? I don't know. Can you hear us? If you're listening right now, can you hear us? John will be monitoring. The main out. Check, 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 check.
It says we're still waiting.
Okay, all right, here we go. I just named the volume apparently. Okay. We're just going to act like, okay. Well, they'll know.
Okay, they can hear us.
Okay. Hey, everyone. We're going to do this.
That's really weird.
Here we go. We're going to do this one more time. This is it for real. No BS. Zoom 16 going now.
We ready right now.
Me, yes. All I know is this violates every canon of respect.
Okay. Hey, everyone. Is that your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Blame Your Brother, the last one of the year 2020. How are you guys doing out there tonight? We are obviously so happy to be with you. We are streaming live on blameyourbrother.tv. We do this on YouTube every week just for you guys, and we're still figuring it out. So stick with us, enjoy it. But we are here. We're happy. We got lots to talk about. It was a crazy week. We had Christmas. We had a bombing in Nashville. We've got the end of the year recap. It's going to be a lot going on in this episode. So we're excited to talk to you, to get this going, to let you enjoy this. So we'll just introduce ourselves. I'm one half of the show. I am David, aka D-Brew, voice of the people, Mr. 40%, Glenn Jackson, the spiritual midget. And this gentleman sitting over here to the left of me is my friend John.
Hey everybody, John here, aka Mr. Groupon, Mr. PTI. The Madman.
That's right. They got John Tortorello, a madman. Yes, and we are Blame Your Brother. So, yeah, man, what a week.
Yeah.
I mean, that's putting it lightly, I guess. But yeah, it's been pretty crazy. So, let's get to the positives. Christmas was this past week.
It was.
Your birthday was this past week as we ended the show. So, how was that? How was the family Christmas? How was the birthday?
It's pretty good. Birthday. Apparently, if you were under the age of 18 and you want to shoot pool in Nashville during COVID, it's not going to happen.
Wait, what now? If you're under...
If you're under the age of 18. My nephew wanted to take me out, and I figured, if we could find a place to, shoot pool, we could talk, hang out a little bit, and it was just a no-go. What happening?
So what'd you end up doing?
Looking for places to shoot pool, and then we just kind of gave up.
And you never found anything.
Never found anything.
Well, number one, how many places are there to shoot pool in Nashville?
I mean, a lot less than you think, I guess.
So there was Buffalo Billards on downtown,
which
right?
is 18 and up.
Okay, then you had. Is there still the place out on 8th Avenue?
That's 21 and up.
That's Dive Bar.
Yeah.
Okay. There's Dave & Buster's.
We tried. We went to Dave & Buster's. I looked online first. I wasn't like flying blind.
Right.
I looked online, and it said they had tables, so I went there. Nope, they got rid of their tables about 4 months ago.
Oh, wow. For COVID or just in general?
Just in general.
Wow. Okay.
And the only table they had left is in their private room that you could rent for $250 an hour.
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, I don't want to play pool that bad.
Benders, baby.
Yeah, so,
wow. $250 an hour?
And I was like, I tried to wheel a deal with the guy. I was like, look, man, no one's going to rent that thing off the cuff.
That's nuts, dude. So you end up doing nothing?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
How was Christmas?
Christmas was pretty good. I had the fam come over. We were still below 10. So I think
good job, John.
I think we were good.
The mayor will be proud.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you get any good presents this year? Your / presents?
I got a pizza oven.
Okay, you talked about that on the last episode. That was cool.
That was up there. That's probably the highlight gift.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, super fantastic.
Yeah. How about you?
I went good. The kids got a lot of stuff, and we had gotten my son Jake this. We thought we were getting him. He's a Seattle Seahawks fan. So my wife thought she was, because my wife, let's just be honest, buys everything. Like if it was for me, it'd be pathetic and sad. But so she's the MVP of that, and she bought him this display case, and she thought a helmet came inside of the case. Spoiler alert, it didn't. So he got an empty case, and we just opened it, on Christmas Eve. So she's like freaking out, and I go, it's fine. I'll write a note as if I'm the big man, just not to confuse any kids out there listening. I'll write it as if I'm the big man, whoever you think that would be. And I'll put in there, one of the elves forgot the helmet and blah, blah, blah. And by the way, Tom Brady's on the naughty list. And I'm a big Russell Wilson fan. Go Seahawks. I hope they win the Super Bowl. And the boys thought that was just the funniest, greatest thing ever. Like of all the things they got, that note was like, they'll be talking about that for a long time. Dad, why is he on the naughty list? I go, Santa's a hater. Okay? He's a hater. I mean, just call it what it is. The man's a hater, all right? But it was cool. I got a couple vinyls. I got Nirvana's Unplugged in New York. I got Fleetwood Mac, Rumors, and I got Ryan Adams Gold.
Those are really good albums.
So I've been playing those quite a bit this week, and then me and my wife got a king size bed that we have still not got a mattress for. We kind of bought that for each other. So, and I got her huge pictures of all the kids she wanted. So it was good. It was great. Spirits were flying high, man. Spirits were good. You're thinking, hey, man.
What was the highlight gift that you bought someone else? The best reaction.
Oh, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, probably the kids, everything they got, but they're kind of spoiled, I mean, just being real. I mean, like they got a bunch of stuff and I think they liked it all. My daughter got like one of those American Girl dolls or whatever those are. I know nothing of that world. Like I'm confused about whatever that is. It's dolls that are very expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. She got that and she loved, and she got a trampoline from her grandparents, which she loved, like a little mini trampoline. And she'll jump on that thing. So, my wife liked all the, the pictures she got, and we got her some pajamas she didn't know about for the boys. I think the wives enjoy when some amount of effort is put forth. That's what I think, especially as you get older. These commercials, man. Let's talk about these car commercials. Now, these really rub me the wrong way. There are these car commercials where these husbands are getting, or vice versa, are getting their significant other cars for Christmas.
That's ridiculous.
Well, it's ridiculous because, in my mind, because I've talked about my wife with it, there's no way they're paying straight cash for these cars. So you're essentially giving someone a car note for Christmas, right? Like, here you go. Here's a car, and you'll be paying on it for the next 5 years. These are like brand new Lexuses, like multiple Lexuses. I'm like, what? Who are these? Are these drug dealers, dude? Who is gifting people a car? That is out of line. And I think, and this is just any advice. If you're just starting out as a couple, you're getting into this new relationship, don't set the bar too high. Because once the bar is set high, it's always going to be that high. And I'd say that about anything, I'm not saying do terrible, but if you buy your wife or girlfriend like a freaking car, just hypothetically, how are you going to follow that up next year? You can't. It's impossible. The standard has been defeated. So Christmas was good. Everyone woke up. It was a great day. And then you turn on the news here in Nashville and it was like, oh, so with every news story, when it first comes about, now we have audio again. What do you know about this man as far as the reason he may have done it? Are you kind of hip to anything?
It's going back and forth. There's some that say that he was paranoid about 5G and the government using it to spy on us. His father worked for AT&T, and they said that might be there might be a connection there.
Now, have you read stuff today that he was part of this lizard people thing and he believed in aliens and all this stuff?
I hadn't read that part.
Which is akin, now I'm really about to rock your socks off, which is akin to Alex Jones and all these conspiracy theorists. 5G, it's killing us, the lizard people are coming for us, all this, right-wing stuff. I mean, I call it what it is. I mean,
InfoWars.
Jason Scoop of Scoop Nashville kind of broke the story that the police were called out on this man about a year ago because they believed he was building a bomb.
He was dating a girl, and I guess that she notified the police and said that he was building explosives in his RV.
Yeah. Very, very, very interesting.
And I believe it was around the time he owned 2 properties. At the beginning of 2019, he did a quit claim for one of them to a woman that lives in LA, and then that woman turned around and did a quit claim to someone else.
And she's claiming she's never met this man before, doesn't know who this man is. Now, John, if someone just happened to give you a house, red flags have to be going off. Like, excuse me, you're giving me what? I've talked about a car for Christmas. That's next level. That's even bigger than a car. That's a freaking house that someone's giving you. Something's not adding up on that front. Yeah. Okay.
Well, when during the reports it says that she passes off anybody asks like what relationship she has to him. She says that she's not allowed to talk about it on account of the FBI. If it was nothing, she'd flat out just say,
right.
There's no connection
whatsoever.
This
it's crazy. It's when you really look at the year, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, but when you look at the year that was 2020, this is just about the worst possible ending that this city could have, which started, if you don't know, if you're not familiar with Nashville, I look at the downloads and people all over the country listen. The year started off with tornadoes destroying East Nashville, like major destruction. Then we fall into this pandemic we're in, and now it ends with a freaking downtown Nashville suffering damage that's going to take a long, long time to recover. And like I say, the upside to it is that no one was killed except for this guy. And it's just nuts. It's like you don't even believe we live in that world. Even when 9/11 happened, it was like shock that this kind of thing could happen. We've always felt so safe in this country. We feel so safe every day. We feel safe in our homes, and things happen to people. It just shows you the life. If you're not already doing it, even in spite of every bad thing that's happened, really need to be enjoying life as much as possible because it is, it's nuts.
You don't know when it's over.
No, you don't. Yeah. It's crazy. I don't know what they're looking for from this guy. Here's the thing, dude. The dude is obviously a wacko, okay?
Yeah.
People say he's a coward. I don't even want to call him a coward because I think that, he's just a nut job. I don't know why they're doing further investigations on why he did it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if this had been a Muslim man that did this, there would be no speculation on why he did it.
Yeah.
Even if he wasn't doing it for any reasons we think, it would be shut and closed.
Yeah.
He'd be called a domestic terrorist. The news is not calling him a domestic terrorist. There's been many stories that just go, oh, he was such a quiet guy. And that's part of the racial bias that still exists in this world today that no one of certain, or the right especially, wants to address. That, come on, man, the dude that's terrorism. He destroyed property. He severely put large number of people in harm's way, And, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if he has a manifesto. I've seen people say he does, but, that's online chatter. Who knows what the guy had in his mind. But it's just, man, I mean, you can't make some of this stuff up. It's really crazy. And for anyone that, and so then on top of that, AT&T, which is the building he was blowing up, and most people weren't aware that that was an AT&T building. And it's because they built it such a long time ago. People think the Batman building is where all this. No, wrong. No, the building was on 2nd Avenue, which obviously he knew. Anybody knew that lives in town. So then everyone that had AT&T service, out of service. Here's what really irks me about people. People are like, after like a few hours, like, AT&T, man, you need to get the service back up. I'm like, yo, man, you probably need to chill with that stuff. Like, I'm sure they're trying to get your service back up. There is literally a crime scene that is blocks long that they're still trying to recover this guy's body, what was used in the blast, everything. And people are just, they're so entitled, and I understand it affects your day when, internet service is affected. I hear you, man. I understand it. I feel you. And our buddy Scoop just continues to Scoop, Jason of Scoop Nashville, continues to break these stories. And it's crazy to me that the Tennessean gives him no credit. Once again, it's sacrilegious. I can't imagine being a journalist and just basically shitting all over another journalist because you don't think he is, I don't know what the deal is with that. But tragedies do bring out the best in people, but they also bring out the worst in people sometimes too. No one wants to talk about that, but
I mean, when things like that happen, you find out who will really stand up and who aren't.
Yeah, Lisa May says, I read the girlfriend called the FBI Christmas morning and said who the bomber was and maybe qualified for the reward money. Well, I mean, I don't know about that. That's suspect to me. I mean, if you are dating a known terrorist and he blows up a building and you call in, you think you should get the reward money for that?
Yeah, that's kind of...
Because I'm thinking like, yo, you should have called this in, or like maybe, I know people called in before. Something like this, you got to make more noise. You can't just call in one time and just be like, yo, man, this dude's building bombs, and police go out and go, there's nothing we can do. Yet you just, you take the flip side of that in Kentucky, which is a state away. I mean, Breonna Taylor, they went in her house. I didn't think there was much evidence at all based on the search warrant. People are losing their jobs on that, and they killed her. But this dude, you couldn't go in and search his RV for bombs. It's suspect, man.
Yeah.
And I know the chief that did it isn't in office anymore, and he's not going to have to answer for this. And there's a new chief for Nashville Police that's in command now. But, whoo, that guy's coming in. That's a hot hand to have. I thought Mayor Cooper was coming in some hot stuff, man. This dude, it's bad for him.
Yeah.
It's really bad for him. So, I don't know, man. It's, damn. I just, I don't know. Once again, you can try to, you can look at what you want. You can try to find, why this guy did this or anything like that. But the truth is, I mean, some people are just like I watched a documentary about Columbine the other day, and they were talking to the mom and just kind of trying to figure out like, what her, did she know about it? At the time people were giving her like a lot of hell about, I'd have known if my kid was doing this and all that. And it's like, would you? Because we all like to say we would, but they actually started looking at it and they showed that, no, actually, you probably wouldn't have, So, I don't know, man. It's just unfortunate, and God bless Nashville, man. What a terrible year. So, okay, so what we're going to do then, we're going to look back at the year 2020. And in order for me to do that, I'm going to have to figure out how to get sound into this next segment right here, because the way we're doing this. See, here's the thing with Lee. Lee, we took for granted many times. Let's be honest here. And now we're going to jump to this next graphic. We'll let you look at it for just a second. And we're going to touch on all the things that happened in this past year. So there's the graphic. There you guys go. There's the graphic. 2020, the year that was 2020. And what this year will go down in history is just insane. Like we're 40-something years old.
I mean, as far as a year that didn't have any, like, specific wars.
Yeah.
Probably the worst one in history outside of that.
I mean, Great Depression, maybe. But still, this is really bad. This is on the verge of Great Depression level. Okay, well, let's start off. I mean, we can pick anything on this board we want, but we'll start off with the death of Kobe Bryant. Kind of kickstart the year, who was tragically killed in a helicopter crash of all things. This is one of the most beloved NBA players of all time, and the man dies in a helicopter crash. We should have known right then and there this year was off to a bad, bad start. Now, we're not even talking about Donald Trump being president for, the last several years. This 3 years going into 4 years. That's how we started the year off. So that was around, I'm trying to think when that was because it feels like a lifetime ago. I think that was like January. Does that sound about right? Maybe February?
Maybe.
It was definitely before COVID. And I know COVID happened as far as when people started being sent home. It was around my son's birthday. It was around March the 10th. Because I know we went on a vacation with my son right before all this stuff happened. And then boom, it started happening right after that. All right. We had some notable deaths in 2020, which, we're always going to have notable deaths. But some of the ones we'll touch on. Alex Trebek died.
That of everyone that passed away, that probably, me personally, I think that one affected me the most.
Then we had Eddie Van Halen passed away, which to any music fan, that was a big one. Yeah. Then we had Black Panther.
Yeah, Chadwick Boseman.
He passed away. And it's crazy that all three of them passed away of cancer. I never really thought about that. But then the major death, the major one, the biggest picture in this entire screen here, George Floyd, which set off a chain of events of racial disparity in America, police officers being racially biased toward the African American community, and Breonna Taylor and George Floyd set it off. And we discussed this many times on the podcast, and honestly, I don't know that we're any better today than we were when this happened. John, do you think we're any better off racially in America?
No, I think we're just not hearing anything because nobody's going outside.
Right. And this,
so it's
you can look at Rodney King from years ago and you can say whatever you want about that. That was terrible. That was really bad. The man didn't lose his life. This man had another man on his neck and suffocated him to death. When you think of terrible ways to die, that's got to be up there. Feeling helpless, seeing your life flash before your eyes. And this is, and you hope in instances like this, in the death of Martin Luther King, of Kennedy, of all these, people, Lincoln, all these, Malcolm X, there's so many. A lot of time, their death brings forth a lot of change. And I'm hoping that more change happens. And I really don't, the problem is we need a better system in place. And I think this is what's wrong with the world we live in today. And you can start off on like a micro level and say, it's the older generation's mindset about the way the world is. Like I say I don't really identify myself as much anymore, but a lot of people our age doesn't think anything needs to be changed from the way they grew up. Hence, when I grew up, I and you and many other people I knew were corporally punished all the time, spanked nonstop.
Yeah.
So much that even football player Adrian Peterson was kicked out of the league for it not too long ago, a couple years ago. So it still happens today. I work with many people who go, yeah, I still spank my child. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, have you read studies that, like, it is not good for you? I don't believe those studies. Like, these are psychologists. Like, they have nothing to gain from these lies, Little things like that. The way we approach, many things. Like there's these constitutionalists out here. I don't know where you stand on this, but who think that the Constitution is what it is, should never be changed. It is set in stone. It's the tablets Moses brought down from the thing. Even though we've changed many of the Constitution.
The word amendment means change.
And I think in light of, and Chappelle made a good joke about it, like the way they stopped school shootings was they just kept everybody inside due to a global pandemic. And he's true. Like, dude, school shootings were happening like every month just about when, before all this happened. I think we need to re-examine the gun laws. And I know when people say that, oh, you can't take away my Second Amendment. Dude, I'm not saying we take it away, but it needs to be re-examined. Why in the hell do we need guns? Honestly, John, tell me why people need guns.
Some people feel that they need one to be safe.
Okay.
And the mindset is that if it's against the law to have a gun, and people are breaking the law,
right,
then that having a law against having a gun does nothing.
I feel that, man.
So that's the big mindset.
A 38, a 9, a 40 Glock gets you one. It should be like one. People are gonna get alarmed when I'm saying this stuff, but anyways, continue. I'll have a.
But I mean, yeah, it's having an AK or things like that, it's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, why? So then the thought that comes after that is, well, we needed it in 1776. Yeah, bro, that was before there was a organized military that's its own business to itself. Do you think your little, your whatever they call AR-15, you really think if the government comes down on us in a police state, you really believe in your heart that AR-15 is going to stop a tank that rolls through your house, dude, or bombs or whatever? Come on, man. Give me a break. It's ridiculous. Okay, so I'm of the mindset that we need to look at changing certain aspects of how we live our life. And part of that is the way we police. And I think it's broken completely. I think drug laws are draconian. They need to be fixed, reevaluated, redone. I mean, we're living in a world where because Richard Nixon made some fake news story in the 60s about, the African American communities being on weed, that it's bad, And it's just, I don't know where we're at, man. I don't know if police, because this story happened about the bombing. Now people are going, well, yeah, see, we do need police. I mean, no one said we didn't need police. I think we're saying we need to reevaluate how we run police. And once again, I say we look at Breonna Taylor, who was shot in her own house with a search warrant for drugs, but yet a dude is caught in a credible threat that he's making bombs, not bombs, and they can't do anything about it. I'm not for overreaching police power, but if one got a search warrant, I don't know why the hell the other one wouldn't get a search warrant. So, I don't know, man. Is there any changes in police you think could happen that would actually make a difference?
I would say that the background of the police officer should match where he's policing. I think that would take care of a lot of issues.
Yeah. Anything else?
I mean, off the top of my head, not really, but I mean, I think that I think they should be paid more. And I think there should be more extensive psychological training or looking into people who are attempting to be a police officer.
I mean, probably. But the problem comes in, can you fill police forces? Because let's be honest. I mean, as we've talked about many times before, we were in Police Explorers when we were younger, like a program meant to show youth how the real world works, okay? And even that wasn't really real. I mean, it was made to be fun. It was made to be like cops and robbers, right? I mean, let's be real. I mean, we're walking around with fake guns, doing fake police stuff. It was made to seem glamorous. But this is a tough job where many of the people kill themselves. They work 16-hour shifts.
Yeah. And
I worked there for many years. They're treated like crap at their work. They are pretty much run into the ground by abusive supervisors, old laws that are just meant to, gain political power for certain people. If you are with this guy, you're good. If not, you're working midnight shift with split days off. And it's just a crap job. Who wants to do that job? And so, unfortunately, it's lower income people that are kind of drawn to that. Yeah, there's a few superhero wannabes out there that want to do it. And there's a few people that say, they want to change the world.
There are some people that were picked on when they were younger, and they think having that badge and that gun on their side
right.
will keep people from picking on them.
Right. So there's that. So I don't know how, I'm with you, John. I don't know how it gets fixed. I mean, I don't know. I think we're at the point now, it's a very decisive time in America. I don't know. I think, what we said before, half the country feels one way, half the country feels the other. And I feel there are some moments of Civil War type discourse in this country right now. And how that ended. It didn't end well. It ended with a lot of lives lost. Yeah. And if it continues to go in this thing where the right's not going to talk to the left, left's not going to talk to the right, it's...
I can't think of a more divided country with the exception of the Civil War.
Right. It's nuts right now.
Yeah.
But in all of that craziness, we did get the Tiger King. Now, John, how long ago does the Tiger King seem like?
It feels like it was a couple of years ago.
It does feel like it's a couple of years ago. So much, I don't even remember all of it. I remember, obviously, Joe Exotic. I mean, that guy, you're never going to forget that guy. You know, the fake country music videos, having 2 husbands, converting straight men into his gay lovers, you know, having these big tigers around him. Obviously, from what I've read and heard, which the documentary didn't show in great detail, was abusive toward them, killed many of them when they, you know, were past their prime where people would come see them. And what a story that was. And, you know, we often wonder, like, there's always serial killer podcasts, TV shows, you got all, name it. You know, you can just turn your TV on now. There's some show on about somebody killing someone out there. And it's because I think we live in this world where our lives are pretty humdrum and normal, most part. I mean, you got your highs and your lows, but it's mainly, you know, normal stuff you worry about. It's escapism. It's, you like to look at these people and go, wow, is that, I mean, that's like a real thing that actually happens. You're like, yeah. So there'll be a series, there'll be a podcast series about the Nashville bombing. Guarantee it. It'll be out in about 6 months. Call it right now. So if you're looking for that in 2021, there you go. There's your podcast. You can check it out. Will they have any real information? Who knows? It's a podcast. I mean, you know.
I think a lot of the information we're already getting is you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. And so Tiger King was one of the big things that happened. Obviously, we looked at movies this past year. I mean, the movie industry took a nosedive pretty much. People weren't allowed back in the theaters. How many big movies actually came out? You know, I don't even know what the top grossing movie is of the year. I think it
was Tenet, but I mean...
I think Wonder Woman passed it, I think, with like 16.7 million.
Oh, wow.
Do you understand 16.7 million in 2019 wouldn't even got you a seat at the big boy table? Like, that's nothing. Mm-hmm. That's like an opening week. Like, I don't even know what Infinity War got, but it probably got that like in a day, at least, right?
Oh,
probably half a day.
Probably hours.
Yeah, probably hours. And now that's one of our top things. Okay, so what else we got? Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she died. Mm-hmm. I believe of cancer as well. I mean, look at this shit, man. These people are all dying of cancer. It scares me to death, John. Yeah. Every time as I get older now, and if something doesn't feel good for like one day, I'm like, oh no. Do I have cancer? Like, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, that's where you go. And by God, do not look on WebMTV.
No. If you're up at 1 a.m. in pain, just deal with it. Don't go on the internet. Don't. My wife has done that before and was like sobbing. I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, I've got something. I'm like, no, you don't. You don't, man. That's, I mean, you know, you're hoping they don't, you know, but, so yeah, it's crazy time. All right, what else we got up on the board? We had Harvey Weinstein was finally sentenced to pretty much life in prison. I think he got 30-something years. The man's about 60 years old, not in good health. That brought forth kind of, I mean, I feel like that was kind of into 2019, but we're still kind of in this Me Too era, which is good. I mean, which is needed. You know, these wealthy white men have pushed people around for so long, and it's still just, it amuses me when white men I see on like social media, especially like Twitter, are like, oh, you're going to crucify all of us? I mean, dude, some of you guys are going to get crucified, okay? And if you were like not a good dude, which I look back at my life, not Me Too stuff, but was always like a good dude to be around. No. I mean, I look back and I look at my younger self and it's just like, dude, you were probably an asshole, man. Like, I'm sure that was many comments. And I think because we were raised, us as white men, that we were always at the table. You know, like, that's just the way it was. And there wasn't a lot of consequences for our actions, honestly. I mean, especially wealthy white men, which we were far from that. But even as a poor white man, I still was going to get better treatment than a black man if we were coming in the same neighborhood, you know. So it's nuts. We had Kanye West have some meltdowns throughout the year. Sported wearing a "Make America Great Again" hat, which is nuts. Put out some music, and then ran for president. I mean, that should be the top story of the year right there. Yeah. Like, that should be like, put everything else, you know, like that's a huge one right there, you know. We had the royal family drama. Do you keep up with that stuff?
No.
Yeah, I don't much either. I do know, just reading about it, there was some implications of racial stuff because Meghan Markle is, she's a black woman, or half black, and but that was big drama for that crowd that loves that stuff. Huge drama. They love it, So, who else is up there? Well, we had the Borat movie, which was interesting because it made, I wouldn't say a star, whatever the opposite of a star is for Rudy Giuliani, who essentially fell apart as the year went on.
Yeah.
Where it ended in a 4 seasons landscaping parking lot for him to say that Donald Trump actually won the election. And that's how we kind of ended the year, with Biden beating Donald Trump in an election that Donald Trump still has not conceded.
No, and he's doing some kind of shady stuff with the stimulus package that's supposed to be rolling out.
That's wild too. I could just sound off all day about this stuff because it's really crazy. So, so the chat said, I think the worst one of the people killed by the police was Ahmaud Arbery. Now, I'm just going to be honest. I know that name, but I don't even remember how they died. And that's sad.
I think that was the one that took place in Georgia.
Okay. And then Elijah McClain was another one. Once again, recognize the name, couldn't tell you how they died. What world do we live in where so many people are getting killed in brutal manner by the police? We don't even, look back to 90s. Rodney King. Why do we remember Rodney King? Because it was the only one that was really televised at the time.
Yeah.
So everyone our age knows Rodney King. These people now are becoming who is Michael Brown? How did Michael Brown die? I remember that one because it was one of the early ones, but there's a lot of them where you're just I don't really know. I know they were killed, and it's sad. Yeah. It's sad. Just thinking about if you had a child or a loved one or yourself getting pulled over by the police and treated like that, it'd be atrocious. We had The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, which was a phenomenal,
very, very good miniseries.
A much needed break from the insanity that was 2020. Fantastic doc, one of the best. Is it the best sports doc? Probably. I don't know what you would put up against it. Hoop Dreams is really good, but that's Michael Jordan. The jogger in Georgia. That's right. He was killed by those hillbilly rednecks. That's right, because they said he was still. That's right. Oh my God. Okay, yeah. See, we do remember it now. Once you tell me the details, I'm like, oh yeah, I can tell you about it. Which was very similar to the kid wearing the hoodie. What's the guy's name? I'm talking about the young man that was killed by George Zimmerman, which I can kill. Yeah. Oh man, it's sad. Trayvon Martin.
Yeah.
Very sad. Very sad. So Last Dance, fantastic doc, amazing. And like I said, we wrap up the year with Biden and Harris being our next leaders as we move into it. So it was a crazy year, and we didn't even talk about coronavirus, which dominated every story that moved forward. We can talk about how ineffective the leadership was about it here, even in town, certain southern states, and it's just kind of spread. And even now they're saying there's a new version of it that could be out there.
Yeah.
So to wrap all that up, do you think 2021 is going to be better than 2020?
Oh, I certainly hope so. But I don't know. I think I don't know how much we can blame COVID-19 on the leaders as much as, there are mandates out there. There are stores that have signs on their doors. You go into those stores wearing your mask, and yet you see people who pull their mask down or pull it off completely.
It's crazy.
Once they get in there. And it comes down to the responsibility of every single individual.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't think it's a majority of people, but it's enough people to screw up things for everybody else.
That's all it takes. That's what